Archie Concepcion bounces to Balti, and that's the first Balti slam in the semifinals. Going to MJ, Garcia will fly! Up, and away. As MJ drives, their kick out. Santos for 3. Yes, sir.
One game at a time lang muna. We need to focus on Caloocan muna. Kung iintindihin namin yan at hindi pa tapos tong series namin, medyo problema yon. Stay focus lang muna kami dito. Dito lang muna kami.
Maybe Caloocan can give us a good answer in game number 2. It is another beautiful night for Philippine basketball, folks, as we give you your continuing coverage of the 2023 Mpbl playoffs. Coming to you live from the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City, the home of your Mpbl 4th season champions, the Rice Vanguards, who will take on San Juan in our second game. But we will begin things with game number 2 for Balti Baltazar and the Pampanga Giant Lanterns going up against the Caloocan Batancan Caloo, that of course features its star player, Gabby Espinas. Pampanga is looking to advance to the North Division Finals, while Caloocan is looking to force a game number 3 this coming Monday, back inside the Brenzi Giao Convention Center. This is Caloocan's approach in a very tight matchup for them in game 2 following our Undas break. And then later on, it will be Nueva Ecija versus San Juan in our second game for your Mpbl Friday. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Javi Palanya and Sydney Crespo. Now, Javi, we covered game 1 of this series and we saw that pure domination with the performance of Pampanga. And so what's the number 1 adjustment that you would want to see from the Caloocan side?
We're going to talk about this more later on, but the number 1 thing I think I would like to see Caloocan do is limit the effectivity of Justin Balti Baltazar. He starts everything and ends with everything para dito sa Giant Lanterns. And without him, Pampanga won't go too far. That's what I believe. That's what if Caloocan can do this, then maybe a game 3 might just happen.
Now, in the topic of adjustments, of course, gagamitin nila yung training sessions nila during this past week. But this is a unique week because it is, after all, the Undas break for everybody here in the Philippines. So why don't we ask about that break, courtesy of our courtside reporter, Sydney Crespo.
Good evening, Migs, Javi, at sa lahat ng ating mga kaliga. Tama ka, no, nagkaroon nga tayo ng mahaba-habang pahinga dito sa Mpbl. Pero para sa ating mga teams, sinakripisyo muna nila ang kanilang undas at wala munang nagpahinga because they did not want to waste any time. Para sa Pampanga nung November 1 lang nila nakasama ang kanilang mga pamilya, habang ang Caloocan naman ay tuloy-tuloy ang ensayo. Isang bagay lang ang gusto nilang mangyari ngayong gabi, ang maging worth it ang lahat ng kanilang sakripisyo. Balik sa inyo.
So one-day break para sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns and no breaks at all for the Caloocan Batancan Caloo squad. So let's see if they will be able to contain Justin Baltazar later on. Why don't you discuss, Javi, our playoff bracket so that everybody would understand the emergency button in this game for Caloocan?
Yeah, they want to extend it to a game 3, and later on, Nueva Ecija will try to do the same here on their home floor against the San Juan Knights. Bukas naman, magkakaroon tayo ng ating South Division semifinals where the Bacoor City Strikers and the Batangas City Embassy Chill will try to dispose of their respective opponents in their own respective series.
Now, we have to talk about some key players. So, syempre, uunahin na natin yung nabanggit ni Javi Palanya, the number 1 guy in terms of the MVP race in the 5th season of the Mpbl. That is Justin Balti Baltazar, who already has started his campaign being one of the top scorers and rebounders in this league, but he's also our All-Star Game MVP. No? Talk about him in game number 1.
And he's also the leading candidate for season MVP honors this year. Balti, his numbers in game 1, 17 points and 14 rebounds. These are actually toned down compared to what we were used to seeing him do in the regular season. But still, the effectivity of these numbers spread across the board, and that these are the numbers that really helped Pampanga establish a 29-point lead early on. That was not enough for Caloocan to overcome despite the run that they had in the 4th quarter. And that's why if you limit the effectivity of Balti Baltazar in this game, you have a big chance of overcoming the Giant Lanterns and extending this series to a game 3 if you're the Batancan Caloo.
That is just crazy efficiency from Balti Baltazar. It took him 9 shots, making seven of them to reach 17 points. Not even as many free throws for him to be that effective for Pampanga. But now let's talk about Paul Sanga on the other hand for Caloocan. This guy actually started slow in game number 1, but in the fourth quarter, he caught his touch.
That's right. Only 2 points in the first half that was scored in the second quarter when he challenged Arvin Santos for a tough layup on the break, but he erupted for 4 3-pointers to get 15 points in the fourth period of that game. And that's one of the keys to the game that we had for Caloocan in game 1 was arrows up, and he really delivered in that manner. But it could not be just him, but it's good that we're seeing him set the tone para sa ibang shooters ng Caloocan Batang Kankalu. So his production from beyond the arc plus his leadership being one of the veterans of this team, definitely very vital for the squad of Coach Robert's season in this game if they want to force a decider.
When you actually think about it, those were very efficient numbers from Paul Sanga in terms of shooting from the field, whether it's from the 2-point or the 3-point area. Now let's talk about more numbers in game number 1 that happened inside the Brenzigiao Convention Center.
74-63 was the score, but as we mentioned earlier, Caloocan was down by as much as 29 points in this game because Pampanga, they went to work early. They really gave it to Caloocan, didn't give them a chance to get back into the game despite the late comeback in the fourth quarter. They really went to their strength, got it inside. This guy, JB Bahio, he really worked hard early, went inside, really initiated the offense with his dribbling, with his ball handling, and then Balti took over, Encho took over, and the other guys were also able to contribute para sa Giant Lanterns. That's what made them get away with this win. Despite this only being an 11-point lead, it was still a very dominant victory para sa kanila. The most glaring stat that we are seeing here are the rebounds. This is definitely one thing that Caloocan needs to address. They're a big front line, but unfortunately, Pampanga is the more younger and more athletic and also taller front line. So they will have to work double time if they want to address this problem and maybe balance this stat line a bit in the rebounding department.
Parang naging kryptonite, no, yung Pampanga para sa Caloocan in this 5th season of the Mpbl. So let's see if they can bounce back here in game number 2. But we now present to you our player matchup, our shooting guards that will be going up against each other. No, we have Archie Concepcion versus Jennifer Cabanag.
Two guys who had contrasting performances in Game 1, but we do know Archie Concepcion is better than the 6 points that he had in Game 1. Si Jennifer Cabanag naman, we expected him to deliver 12 points. He is a vital piece of the rotation of the Caloocan Batang Kakulu. In fact, he was the leading scorer this whole season para sa kanila. So he has to put in more of these numbers and also in timely fashion para makadeliver ang Caloocan to force a Game 3.
Remember, the farthest that Jennifer has gone in the playoffs is the semifinals. He wants to be able to reach the North Division Finals. Now, Jennifer and Archie are with Sydney Crespo.
Thank you so much, Migs. Kasama ko nga si Archie at Jermer para sa ating player matchup. Binantayan nyo ang isa't isa nung Game 1 at nagpakita kayo ng lakas ng loob sa inyong mga one-on-one. Paano nyo ulit to gagawin ngayong game number 2? Archie, paano ka magiging consistent para sa Giant Lanterns ngayong gabi?
Start ko po sa defense and enjoy the game. Stick lang po sa game plan. Play as a team po, yun lang.
Archie, maraming salamat at good luck sa iyo ngayong gabi. Ngayon naman, Jennifer, maaaring huling laro nyo na. Kung hindi kayo makakabawi, anong focus mo tonight?
Focus lang namin siguro ma-extend pa yung series para at least maganda yung laban. And focus lang din sa depensa. May mga game plan naman kami ginawa para sa kanila. And hoping na makabounce back kami sa game na to. Yun lang.
Jeremy at Archie, maraming salamat sa inyong dalawa. Ngayon simulan na natin ating game number 2 at ipasa kay Richard Tampos.
And welcome to Game 2 of the Best of 3 North Division Semifinals. The Pampanga Giant Lanterns is up ahead to 1-0 over the Caloocan Batang Kankalu. This is the Nexus Gaming 88 Manny Pacquiao's Mpbl Season 5 presented by Extreme here at the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City. Now let's meet the starting lineups, beginning with the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, AMG 3 Construction. Small forward number 77, John Lloyd Clemente. At guard number 2, Archie Concepcion. Power forward number 7, JB Bayo. Guard number 11, MJ Garcia. And at center number 19, Justin Balti Baltasar. The head coach is Pampanga, Honorable Governor Dennis Delta Pineda. assisted by Pedrick Di Madulak. Coaching consultants are Mervin Mercado and Alan Trinidad. Assistant team managers Ronald Nulud and Raymond Guevara. Team manager and team owner Aurelio A.G. Gonzalez III. Now starting for Caloocan, Pampanga. At guard number 7, Jeremy Cabanag. Forward number 11, Paul Sanga. Playing in center number 16, June Bonsubre. Point guard number 23, Irvin Palencia. And at power forward number 26, Rio Cervantes. Their head coach is Ronnie Duhilio. His assistants are Carla Nusa, Hector Serrano, and Peter Santamaria. Team manager Mac Robert Di Tiandu. Coaching consultant is Robert Season. Team governor Jeremy Teen. Team owners are Mr. Dennis Flores and Caloocan City 1st District Honorable Congressman Oka Malapitan.
Presenting the starters for game number 2 of Pampanga and Caloocan. We have NJ Garcia, Archie Concepcion, Justin Baltazar, JB Bahio, and John Lloyd Clemente for Pampanga. And then we have Junjun Bonsubre with Irvin Palencia, Jeremy Cabanag, Rio Cervantes, and Paul Sanga for Caloocan, Batang Kankalu. Thank you for joining us here in Palayan City. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Sidney Crespo. At the top of our coverage, Javi mentioned he wants to see Caloocan contain the number 1 guy of Pampanga. That is Justin Balti Baltazar. And the one that actually went up against him in the jump ball is Junjun Bonsubre, who apparently had the best plus-minus for Caloocan in game number 1. He was a +8 on the floor. Now, he is the youngest of the big men for, or at least one of the youngest for Caloocan, Batang Kankalu. Do you think that's actually what they need? Some youth on their front line?
Yeah, and also Junjun Bonsubre is no stranger to going up against Balti Baltazar. These two went up against each other in the collegiate ranks, and right away he delivers with the first basket. Bonus na lang yan pag makakapagpa-score pa to at si Junjun. But what they really want from him is to be physical with Balti and really tire him out early on.
Bonsubre was the one guarding Balti in that previous possession. NJ Garcia just missed. Turnover on the other end. Balti's on the run. 2-on-2 action. Archie Concepcion is fouled.
We're seeing here in the early goings of the game, both teams really trying to push the pace, not waiting for the other team to be set up on defense. Really fast backcourt from both squads starting this game. And Archie Concepcion, he's one guy who wants to make up for his subpar performance in Game 1.
Now, why don't we take this time to listen in to Javi Palanya with his keys to victories for Pampanga.
Now, number 1 is rev up your engines. Pampanga, they want to really push the pace here, take advantage of their youth, of their athleticism, and really push the basketball. Number 2 is just like what Gandalf said to the Balrog in the Mines of Moria, you shall not pass. Do not wait for Caloocan to set up in the half court, because this has been their strength all season long. Really executing in the half court and taking advantage of the experience of their bigs in the post area. Number 3 is limit Caloocan to one and done possessions. If they have been able to crash the offensive glass, do not let the Batang Kankalu do the same on their end of the floor.
So you really want Pampanga to go fast in this game, huh?
That's right.
The other end for Caloocan, your keys to victory.
Number 1 is let's get physical. Just like what we talked about, what Junjun Bonsubre should do against Balti Baltazar, the whole Caloocan Batang Kankalu should do against this whole Giant Lantern squad. They have to be able to stymie the production and not let Pampanga take advantage of their athleticism. The same in key number 2, box out. They were minus 18 in the rebounding department in Game 1. They don't want to let that happen, because when you're down on the boards, that's usually half of the battle. And number 3 is dim the light of the brightest lantern, and that's Balti Baltazar. That's what we talked about at the top of our coverage. You limit his effectivity, that's usually already the job done para sa Caloocan.
First of all, I want to thank you for being creative with your keys to victory. Mas witty na ngayon yung points ni Javi Palanya. And obviously, that's a big help for everybody watching the coverage to see if our two teams will actually live up to Javi's expectations. That's now, it is 4-3, turnover forced. June Bonsubre, oh, he's off to a good start.
2 baskets already here in the first quarter para kay Junjun Bonsubre. Aside from doing a good job in the defensive end of the floor, he's running on the break and being hit by good passes from the Caloocan guards.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Junjun Bonsubre is playing sick today. He's not 100%, and yet he's off to a great start as JLC answers back.
Just like we mentioned in our keys to victory, Caloocan should limit Pampanga crashing the offensive glass, prevent those second chance opportunities. One defensive stop is good enough, but you have to finish it with defensive rebounds.
A block on the other end by JB Bahio. Cabanag tried to get the steal. Here's the forward pass to Archie against Irvin Palencia. Baltazar hands it off. Concepcion kicks it out. JLC fakes. JLC against Paul Sanga. Up top, JB Bahio. 7 on the shot clock. Bahio asking for a clear out. There's the ISO against Real Cervantes. JB leans in. No foul, no bounce.
Excellent disciplined defense right there by Real Cervantes. Just staying in front, not jumping on any fake, and just staying there against JB Bahio.
There's a foul on the other end. Irvin Palencia was grabbed by MJ Garcia. Sorry, it was actually JB Bahio who's called for a foul.
You can really see the change in play, pati sa body language itong Caloocan here at the start of this game. They're really locked in and they want to do everything that they can. Lahat na practice nila during the break.
Balti is running. Nice feed to MJ. A sorry miss. Ball out of bounds. But there you go. The difference in rebounding. You're not even giving a second chance to Balti anymore itong Caloocan.
Increased intensity. They're locked in. The sharpness, the focus. That's already given for Caloocan here in the first few minutes of this first quarter.
Again, from Sidney Crespo, Caloocan did not even have a day of break this past week in order to counter Pampanga in Game 2. But now, it's Bonsubre who's called for a charge.
A call for a moving screen as he tried to free up, I believe it was Jeremy Cabanag on that baseline. These are the things that they have to address. They want to save up on their fouls, but at the same time, you have 5 fouls to give. And we were talking about this during the trip coming here that because they have such a deep front line as well, pwede nilang gamitin yung mga fouls sila in bringing the physicality to this very talented Pampanga front line.
Ooh, a three-pointer coming in from MJ Garcia, much to the delight of the Pampanga crowd. A sizable Pampanga crowd that we have here in Palayan City.
So much Pampangueños here in the venue. And MJ Garcia, ayaw niya rin pahiyain ng mga fans sa Pampanga na tumipon dito sa Palayan City just to see him play. And then Real Cervantes answers back with a 3 of his own.
First 3 points in this game for Real Cervantes. Caloocan regains the lead 9-8. Almost halfway done in the opening quarter of game number 2. Baltazar goes to Archie, our reigning homegrown player of the year. The pull-up and the make.
That's already 3 points in the game para kay Archie Concepcion. You could see that he's aggressively looking for his shot here in the first quarter.
10-9, back and forth we have gone. Irvin Palencia, pinapalabas si Jedimer. No charge there. And here's Bonsubre with 8 on the shot clock. Junjun looking for Jedimer. Cabanag, almost a steal. Good effort by Archie. 1 on the shot clock. Cervantes, that's no good.
Oh, Cabanag could have taken the shot himself. It put a lot more pressure on Cervantes with little time left on that shot clock to take the 3.
JB Bahio working with Balti. Bahio drives, he spins, and then he got fouled.
Oh, that's already 2 on Bonsubre.
But you did mention they do have a lot of big men coming off the bench that can replace him.
Bahio, he was really instrumental in that first quarter push in game 1 para dito sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Really set the tone offensively for them before the main guns of Pampanga took over.
As JB shoots free throws, now let's listen in to Sidney Crespo.
Dala ngayon ng Pampanga Giant Lanterns ang 7 buses kasama ang kanilang mga supporters sa tulong ng mga mayor ng 5 bayan sa Pampanga. Isang paraan lang to para makatulong sa confidence ng Giant Lanterns. Para kay Coach Governor Delta Pineda, kailangan niyang siguraduhin na hindi lang 7 ang may kumpiyansa sa kanyang team, kung hindi lahat ng Giant Lanterns. Kung gagawa raw sila ng history dito sa Mpbl, each and everyone has to contribute dahil sila rin ang mag-uuwi nito sa kanilang mga pamilya. In this game, they need to anticipate the defense na hinanda ng Caloocan. They first sure are not taking this lightly, Migs and Javi.
That's a nice report from Sydney Crespo as June Bonsubre scores from the mid-range. First of all, a big shout out to the 5 mayors. Whoever you may be, shout out to you and thank you for your service and your help in bringing these Kapampangans in Nueva Ecija. And second, maganda rin talaga yung napag-usapan ni Sydney, no? Na history ang gustong makamit ng Pampanga because in the 4 seasons of the Mpbl, Pampanga has never reached the finals.
And so this is a window of opportunity that they do not want to let go, especially with the roster that they have at their disposal. Imagine having the leading MVP candidate and then one of the most talented guards the league has ever seen in Enzo Serrano with a solid supporting cast around these two guys, and even having a veteran like Arvin Santos come along in this most crucial stretch of the season para sa kanila. This is one thing I'm sure na ayaw talaga nila pakawalan.
Enzo Serrano now makes his first appearance in this game alongside the team captain of Pampanga and Raymond Binuya. They also have Luis Sangalang and Neil Tolentino joining the brightest lantern in Balti Baltazar as Cervantes almost turned the ball over. Kick out. Jennifer could have shot the ball already. No basket on the lean-in. Scramble and recovered by Real. Three-pointer. That's short. Rebound Enzo. Forward pass, Neil Tolentino, 2-on-2. They go to Balti. That's good.
That should have been a lift against Neil Tolentino. Our referees have been calling that consistently, but on that occasion, they let go on Neil Tolentino, which allowed Baltazar to get that pass and score on the short stab.
It's now 12-11. The back and forth continues with under 3 minutes to go in the opening frame. Paul Sanga will fire. That's long. Binuya losing the defense of Palencia. Raymond, hand off to Neil. Tolentino backing down. Neil fakes and feeds. Backdoor. Baltazar goes to Sangalang. Inside he tried to go. That's tapped away by Jedimer.
You could really see better defense here by Caloocan, at least here in the first quarter. The question is, can they sustain this for throughout the whole game? And we can see now the entry of Ronnie Matias, early substitution in the game para sa kanya.
Now this assist of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Neil Tolentino finding his childhood friend in Balti Baltazar for that signature one-hander of his that a lot of Lasalians also have as their signatures. And here's Paul Sanga with the steal, the feed to Jedimer. And that's basket and one.
2-on-1 fast break, ran to perfection there by the Batang Kangaloo. There was a miscommunication between Binuya and Tolentino. Sanga chasing for that loose ball and setting up Jedimer Cabanag for that N1 play.
Cabanag will now proceed to the line. In his past appearances in the playoffs, he exited the first round with Jensen. He exited the second round with Bacolod just last year. That's why his goal is to at least reach the North Division Finals. Let's see if he can do it with Caloocan. 14-12, 2 minutes and 20. Baltazar to Sangalang. Louis against Ronnie Matias. Here's Enzo. Serrano. Oh, he got hit in the face. Binuya will now go to Balti. 4 on the shot clock. Balti will turn around. Again, the one-hander.
This is the first time in the series that I've seen Caloocan use a double team against Baltazar on the post. But Balti, knowing what to do right away, spinning away from that double, going to the baseline and going for that tough one-hander.
That's the thing. We talked about that single coverage in the whole of game number 1 against Balti Baltazar. But then again, Balti's so used to these double teams already. That's why we often talk about it on air na ang hirap nga naman talagang pigilan, no?
He's so used to every situation that you try to throw at him. One of the best things about Balti also is he never gets rattled or he never gets too high or too low. He's just always in the middle and staying in the present. This was the last play that we were talking about. Slight double by Palencia and you have Balti really fading away from that, seeking that one-hander, and then a little altercation between Tolentino and Cabanag.
A double foul initially called between those two shooting guards. But then again, Nick Tolentino, if you think about it, he might be a perfect cover for Jenmer Cabanag because he's just so pesky. He's the type na pwede mong utusan na habulin si Jenmer, no?
That's correct. And you know, Neil Tolentino, after him, if he exits the game in whatever fashion, ang dami pang pwede pumalit sa kanya. But the importance of Jenmer Cabanag for Caloocan is way bigger than what Neil Tolentino is to Pampanga. That's not a shot to Neil Tolentino, but that's just to highlight how big Jenmer Cabanag is for the Batangang Caloo.
So you wouldn't want to have Jenmer Cabanag in foul trouble in this game. He only had 1 foul in game number 1. Wasn't really a problem for him in that matchup. There's Governor Coach Dennis Delta Pineda. Why don't we take this time to greet some people of Pampanga, no? Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Don Gonzales, who celebrated his birthday in game number 1. Team owner and manager A.G. Gonzales, City Councilor Brent Gonzales, Senior Board Member Mika Gonzales, Mayor Rudin Gonzales of Mexico, of course, Governor Coach Dennis Delta Pineda, Vice Governor Lilia Nanay Pineda, Board Member Mylene Pineda, Mayor Philip Nagit of Minanin, Pampanga, and Athletic Sports Apparel. Batiin natin sina Cresa and Kyla, no? The Aquinos watching from Australia. Napabati kayo ni Papa Nelson, one of the staff of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. And again, a big shout out to the 5 mayors as per Sidney Crespo, who were able to send these Kapampangans in Palayan City. They want, or they might as well get used to these types of journeys, no? Especially if Nueva Ecija wins later on and this coming Monday against San Juan. But of course, the Knights have something to say about that. We seem to have an official call already, so why don't we hear from Richard Tampos, our arena announcer. They're clearing it up.
Upon review, a foul was committed by number 7, Jeremy Cabanag. Penalty is second. A sportsmanlike foul on Pampanga, number 8, Neil Tolentino for swinging of elbow. First foul on Neil Tolentino.
So, it's a regular foul on Jenmer, but now he has 2 fouls already. So that's a big problem for Caloocan. On the other hand, an unspo by Neil Tolentino. So does Jenmer have to shoot free throws here?
Yeah, there should be 2 free throws plus ball possession.
Hindi pa siya pwedeng palitan ni Prince Casin as of yet.
He has to shoot the free throws first, but Tolentino will be shooting 2 free throws before Caloocan's Cabanag takes 2 free throws of his own.
Because they were in penalty.
That's correct.
So here's Neil Tolentino, a mid-season addition for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns coming from Iloilo, but he is a Kapampangan after all. Ito yung sinasabi nating grupo ng mga Kapampangan sa Giant Lanterns team na magkakababata naman sila, and so there's no question as to their chemistry. 8 points for him in game number 1. Just made a second free throw.
If you talk about basketball in the regional sense, sa grassroots program, grassroots level, Pampanga is definitely one to emulate.
Cabanag now is at the stripe. His first free throw is good. 4 points now for Jenmer. And there you see Coach Robert Season, who's obviously experiencing a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Before his stint here in Caloocan, which happened late, he only had 2 games in the regular season before proceeding to the playoffs. Again, he missed basketball for a whole decade, 10 years outside of the sport. What a welcome back for him.
I'm sure he's very happy to be given this kind of opportunity with faces that are very familiar to him. Guys like Rel Cervantes, Gabby Espinas, Paul Sanga, Coach Toto Gihilio.
Which is a challenge in itself, no? Managing these egos, these personalities late in the season.
And also late in their careers.
Sure, ma-prinsipyo na itong mga to, very vocal.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not the same players that they used to be owing to the age. But I'm sure that Coach Robert, being the experienced coach that he is, would find ways to make it work.
It's now 16 to 15. Caloocan with the lead. Palencia could not make that jumper. Rebound Balti.
At least for Caloocan, they would be happy with the way they're performing here in the first quarter compared to what they did in Game 1, where Pampanga just really got out of the gate storming.
Pampanga led after one, 24-11 in game number 1. Palencia on the run. Nice feed to Paul Sanga.
Excellent delivery right there by Irvin Palencia. That pass was right on the money. And Paul Sanga, you could really see him running the floor here in the first quarter. That's the second time that we've seen him run on the break.
Encho left wide open and he ties the ball game.
This is going to be dangerous for Caloocan. If Encho Serrano will be able to hit that outside shot at a consistent basis here in this game, Pampanga is going to be very difficult to guard.
That was actually one of the first, or if not the first three-pointer by a Pampanga guard in this series, because in game number 1, it was their big men making it rain from downtown, as there's a dribbling violation called on Prince Kasim.
That's right. Encho Serrano was 0 out of 4 from three-point country in game 1, and the only guys who were able to hit from downtown in that match for the Giant Lanterns were Luis Sangalang and Justin Baltazar.
So now it's 2 threes in this game for the Pampanga guards. One from MJ Garcia and one from Encho Serrano.
Arvin Santos as well had a couple of three-pointers in that match.
18 all. Encho again. Almost the same look, different result. Binuya, no putback there. And here comes Caloocan. Paul Sanga off of the cross. They have 11 to work with. Not much of a differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Gabby Espinas, he will score.
That's too easy. Face-up action in the low block against Mate Los Santos to close out this quarter. Gabby Espinas has seen that coverage so many times throughout his career. Just a simple kiss off the glass for that bank shot.
Now this move of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Face-up. And Gabby Espinas, as you mentioned, with one of his signature bank shots, making it look very easy in the face of Matt De Leon. So after the first 10 minutes of game number 2, Caloocan is looking good as they try to force a game number 3 back in Pampanga this coming Monday. We're back inside the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City for game number 2 of Pampanga and Caloocan. The score reads 20-18 in favor of Batang Cancalú. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Sidney Crespo. And so far it has been an impressive start for Caloocan, and they have shot the ball at a 50% clip so far as compared to the 41% of Pampanga.
That's good news if you're Coach Robert. Season 1, you've been able to make your shots in an efficient manner, as you mentioned. And second, you've been able to keep Pampanga below their efficiency rate. But Eche Serrano does have something to say about that in terms of outside shooting. That's three-pointer number 2 already for Encho in this match.
Pampanga regains the lead 21-20. I was about to point out that in the first quarter, the stats were almost similar in terms of rebounding, assists, steals, blocks, and turnovers. It's been a literal back and forth for the Lanterns in the Batang Caloocan squad.
But one thing also that's been very different for Caloocan in this game, offensively, their execution has been very much on point compared to game 1 and a lot more variation in their sets.
But now let's execute and pass the ball on to Sydney Crespo.
Well, Migs and Javi, hindi na mangyayari yan. Ito ang mindset ng Caloocan ngayong gabi sa game number 2. Paulit-ulit na sinabi ni Coach Robert Sison, hindi na raw mangyayari ulit na matatakbuhan sila ng Pampanga at hindi nila ito papantayan. 3 things that they need to work on tonight. Fight for the ball, be faster than the Giant Lanterns, and enjoy this game. Let's see how their preparations will translate tonight. Back to you guys.
You can really sense the pride of Coach Robert Sison in the statements that he gave to Sydney Crespo as Joko Tayongtong scores inside. And for you to have a game plan to actually be faster than the Giant Lanterns, that's a big testament of your squad.
That's how much he trusts his boys. And Jacob Galicia answering the call right away. Kakapasok pa lamang niya sa laro na to. But getting the pass, running the floor, and scoring in transition was Jacob Galicia. Earlier, we saw Paul Sanga do that a couple of times. Jerober Cabanag was also involved in the fast break attacks para sa Caloocan Batang Kankalu. So as a team, they're ready to answer the call of Coach Robert Sison to play faster than the Pampanga Giant Lanterns in this game.
Now, this move of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Joko Tayongtong is stretching his right arm for that wonderful looking layup. We're talking about the fast break opportunities for Caloocan, and yes, they have outscored Pampanga on the break 9-3 in that category, to the point of Sydney Crespo, as Luis Sangalang makes his first free throw. And there you see Coach Dennis Delta Pineda. I wonder what's going through his mind right now.
With Caloocan's back against the wall, Coach Robert Sison obviously putting a lot of pressure on his players to be able to deliver and respond to the game plan that they prepared for. Para naman kay Governor Dennis Delta Pineda, I'm sure that he's aware that Caloocan will try to sustain this kind of effort until the 4th quarter. That's why, he's trying to be calm and composed, trying to be that guy to steady the ship for Pampanga as Caloocan tries to take over this match.
Well, Pampanga has gone through this type of situation in the regular season. Maraming beses na rin naman na sila yung nasa huli. They were trailing up until the 4th quarter. Some comebacks as well made by the Lanterns. This isn't too hard for them, or this shouldn't be too hard as Prince Casin scores inside.
That should have been an end one opportunity, but still great execution once again on the set by the Batang Kankalu. Gabi Espinas locating Casin on the baseline cut.
Luis Sangalang, that's a strong side.
You almost always know that he is gonna go to the left, but somehow a lot of times it's so hard to stop him.
It's now 26-24. Gabi Espinas on to Jacob Galicia with 7 on the shot clock. Down to 5 seconds. Jacob misses. Rebound, Apolonio.
Not really strong suit going for those kinds of jumpers. It was a Jacob Galicia.
Apolonio on the other end. That's short. Battle for the board. How about the effort from Gabi Espinas? Patrabaho ka talaga against these kids of Pampanga.
This was Prince Casin attacking the middle off of the post. That's coming from a pass by Gabi Espinas. But look at Luis Sangalang getting the step on Ronnie Matias, going to the left for those 2 points.
Now we are glad to present to you Mr. Spider-Man himself, Arvin Santos, who is wearing his signature neon socks for the first time, right? In MPBL history.
That's something that we grow accustomed to seeing him wear throughout his legendary basketball career. I believe the reason is because yan ang lucky color niya.
Ooh, okay.
I hope I still remember it right, but yeah, that was one of the things that I remember kung bakit niya sinusuot niya, even if it's not the San Miguel colors,
Yeah.
and also the Northport colors, sinusuot niya yan. Not just the socks, before, kahit niya yung sleeves niya before, neon green
Neon
din.
green din. But somehow, some way, bumagay na rin no? Kay Arwin Santos. I want to say this though, with his neon socks, his pink tape, his white and orange and blue jersey, he really is looking like a lantern today
Oh yeah.
for Pampanga.
And not to mention the hair too.
That's right, may kulay yung buhok niya. As MJ drives, he passes. That feed was a bit too low. Here's Concepcion. Archie spins, he's fouled.
What an impressive counter against the defense of Prince Casin. You saw Concepcion meaning to drive to the middle, seeing that that door was shut down, went for the spin on the dribble, and found a way to get inside the shaded area to draw the foul.
Would you actually say that spinning with a dribble is much harder than not dribbling?
Oh yeah, definitely. Kasi you have to find a way to spin with a basketball without lifting it, being called for a dribbling violation. So kailangan na ikot mo. You have to spin with the basketball with your body, with your hand above the ball.
Yes.
And that takes some practice. You just saw Coach Aldinayo
Right.
on the bench of Pampanga.
Which also happened in game number 1. He's been behind Coach Dennis Delta Pineda for a while now as Espinas off of the steal. He attacks Balti. Just missed it. Forward pass. Another steal. Another steal. And that's a foul on Mac Barakael.
A careless handling of the basketball for the Batang Kankalu, but at least you're still happy with the foul that was given by Barakael. You stop an easy 2 points by NJ Garcia on the break.
Jennifer Cabanag will now return. He has 2 fouls in this game. He seems to be the only one in foul trouble so far in this matchup.
Aside from Junjun Mutsubre.
Yeah, right. Mutsubre also has 2. MJ couldn't make his second three-pointer. Rebound Archie. Pampanga's down by 1. 4 minutes gone by in the second. MJ will fire again. That's short. Rebound Balti. That's an easy one.
Well, MJ Garcia, I tell you, he's not been shy to hoist it up from the outside. But if you let Balti gather rebounds like that, when it falls into his hands so easily, then you're not doing a very good job if you're Caloocan.
6 points now with a rebound and 2 dimes to the name of Balti Baltazar. Here's back Barakael against Arwin Santos. Feed inside. Gabby Espinas. No foul there.
And that's a forced shot by Espinas.
And a traveling violation on Jason Apolonio.
A lucky break right there for Caloocan. Gabby was better off just dumping it down to the middle of the paint. Maybe an extra pass on his left side. They get another opportunity here after that traveling violation on Jason Apolonio.
We have a timeout. The score reads 28-27. Mula sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao at sa iba't ibang sulok ng mundo, kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong panonood ng Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. You're catching us on Pilipinas Live, Facebook, YouTube, Signal Play, and later on 1TH for our game between the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards and the San Juan Knights. We are in Palayan City for Caloocan versus Pampanga, Mac Barakael versus Arwin Santos, FEU versus FEU. Mac Barakael scores.
And the King Tamaraw of the most recent generation winning against the legendary Arwin Santos on that matchup. Barakael has been a late substitution in this game compared to game 1 where he started for the Batang Caloocan as Baltasar has been starting to get on a roll here in the second quarter.
What a back and forth so far in this game. 30-29. Tayumtong, no good. Balti, forward pass to Arwin. And now Santos will slow things down. Arwin will go to JLC against team captain Jaggy Laude of Caloocan. John Lloyd turning around and missing. Cabanag, screen by Ronnie. Cabanag, tough shot. That's short.
Back-to-back possessions wherein Caloocan has rushed their offensive sets. Only 1 to 2 guys touching the basketball in the last 2 possessions for the Batang Caloocan.
Now we have a charge as Cabanag went down. It's on Archie. Archie Inigo will now make his appearance, his first appearance in this game. As we take a look at what just happened. Ayun, there was a takedown by Archie.
Oh, he was trying to go backdoor there using his right arm to ward off the defense of Jeremer Cabanag.
Barakael again, this time he pulls up and makes that three-pointer.
So outside of those 2 possessions where Cabanag and Tayongtong took rush shots for the Batang Caloocan, whenever they went to Mac Barakael on those 2 isolation plays on the right side, they were able to score. Kaya lang, nakabalik na naman ang Pampanga. Ang bilis na palitan dito.
It's now 32-all. Inigo will go to Barakael again against Arwin. Mac just really challenging his senior. Turnaround shot. Oh my goodness! What a clinic by Mac Barakael.
Wow, in Coach Robert's season, if you see him on the sideline, the way he was pumping his fist again and again after the 7th straight point of Mac Barakael. Look at that. Classic Mac Barakael. Take it down to the block. Fall away jumper. And this was the 3-point shot as well over Spider-Man Arwin Santos. 3 baskets, 7 points, all against Arwin Santos para dito kay Mac Barakael.
I tell you, if I can be a bit of a spoiler here, Sydney actually has an FEU report for us. I hope we can hear it sometime soon. Let's talk about Arwin Santos in game number 1. His numbers.
8 points in that game. Was able to score most of his production in the 3rd quarter. And when you have Arwin Santos, who came in late in this season, providing baskets for you, that's already pretty much of a bonus. He's there more for his leadership, and his presence on the floor just brings a lot of intangibles para sa Giant Lanterns.
Alright, now let's listen in to Sydney Crespo.
Dahil pinag-uusapan na rin natin dito sa coverage, pati sa social media, na marami sa ating players ngayon ay may dugong Tamaraw. Alam nyo ba na 2 jersey lang sa history ng FU Basketball ang kanilang niretire? Isa dyan ang number 19 ni Spider-Man Arwin Santos na sumunod sa arguably one of the best point guards in Philippine basketball, number 14, Coach Johnny Abarrientos. At sa 2005 champion team ng FEU, sina Spider-Man at Jeff Chan na lang ang napapanood pa rin natin ngayon. Para kay Arwin, importante daw sa kanila kung saan sila nanggaling yung pagiging humble at may puso sa laro. Ano bang mas interesting story? Ito o sa intrams ng FEU unang na-discover ang noong nursing student turned business graduate named Paul Sanga? You decide, Migs and Javi.
Well, obviously we want to see Paul Sanga catch fire again in this game. Arwin Santos now is really being challenged by Mac Baracael, who's now giving us an absolute show in Nueva Ecija.
I tell you, Mix, I had goosebumps just listening to that report. Makes me proud to be from FEU myself.
Oh yeah, right. You were a champion in your high school days with FEU. And just so you know, guys, we actually have the FEU courtside reporter from season 80 and 81 with us in our coverage. That's why she just gave us some good facts about Far Eastern University. We do have a lot more talents, not only Arvin Santos and Paul Sanga, Mac Baracael, we talked about him. Who else? Real Cervantes.
Real
from
Cervantes.
FEU.
At Inigo as well.
But now it is Caloocan versus Pampanga. As Caloocan is up by 2, 34-32 with 2 minutes and 30 remaining before halftime. Ronnie Matias is now defending Balti Baltazar. Archie almost turned the ball over. He recovers, bounce pass to Coach Toto Dohilio, who just gave us a rare smile at the sideline. That's a turnover.
Parang nahahawa na rin si Coach Toto sa energy ni Coach Robert.
Oh, I dream for that day wherein Coach Toto will actually celebrate like Coach Robert season. Jaggy Laude against John Lloyd Clemente. Laude will pull up. That's long. Rebound, MJ.
Not really a shot. You were used to seeing Joggy take, sizing up his man and taking the outside shot.
Oh, nagmadali si Arwin. Battle for the ball. It ends up with Mac Baracael.
Just like that shot as well, we siguro mabibilang natin sa kamay natin the number of times that Arvin Santos misses from point-blank range.
34-32. Jennifer Gabanag against Archie Concepcion. Archie with a steal, and that's a foul. The third foul of Jennifer Gabanag in this game.
That's going to be a big development for the Batang Kaloo. These two guys have been going at it repeatedly, matched up against each other since the start of the game. And they've been trying their best to really limit one another. Kanina, it was Jennifer Cabanag who almost came up with a steal against Concepcion. Here, Archie was able to complete that. It's also draw the third personal against Cabanag.
Concepcion now proceeds to the line, but the Pampanga free throw shooting is not really that well in this game. Now at 6 out of 11, near 50%. And there you see Coach Alden Ayo behind Governor Coach Dennis Delta Pineda. The Pampangans wearing white present as well here in Palayan City.
That's not a surprising sight because Governor Dennis Delta Pineda is one of the leaders of the Converge Fiber Xers in the PBA, of which Coach Alden is the head coach.
34 all now, the fourth deadlock in this game. And we've also seen 12 lead changes. Here's Paul Sanga, the former nursing student, with an air ball. Very uncharacteristic there for Paul Sanga. Balik tayo, Arwin Santos, the fake, the drive, and the turnover. Achi Inigo with numbers. Achi to Paul Sanga with the finish.
We haven't seen Paul Sanga hit his stride from the outside just yet, but whenever he runs the floor, he has been making good decisions. A couple of baskets on the break and also a setup earlier in the first quarter.
Oh, that's a nice counter on the other end. John Lloyd Clemente with a three-pointer.
I'm sure everybody's having a treat just watching this game. Both teams going back and forth.
We've seen 14 lead changes already. Ronnie Matias, no good. Rebound, Spider-Man. And here comes MJ, forward pass. John Lloyd Clemente is fouled.
Well, because of the talent that Pampanga has possessed in this season, many people forget how much of a great scorer JLC is.
Now this assist of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. the son of Alex and Marita, finding Paul Sanga, a guy who, as Sydney mentioned, started with playing in the intramurals of FEU. Imagine that. That should be an inspiration to all of our Filipino students right now in grade school, in high school, and in college. You never know where you actually might shine and where you might actually begin your professional career as a basketball player.
Thank you so much again to City for that beautiful report. You know, there have been a lot of stories like that in Philippine basketball kung saan nadidiscover lang talaga sa intrams ang maraming magagaling na player who end up being icons in their respective schools.
Now we have a timeout. The score reads 39-36. Pampanga is up with 26 seconds to go before halftime.
The official sports booth of the Mpbl.
Okay, so real.
Extreme one-stop shop appliances.
Okay.
BB.com.
Okay, this is
Suzuki, the official motorcycle partner of the
Jacob,
Jacob,
listen.
for the
Let me see,
reading our official tournament ball. Boracay Dinahia, the official hotel and resort of the Mpbl.
Dito tayo ako. Dito. Okay. Listen. Next tayo. Okay. Because next. Listen. Paabutin natin hanggang dulo. Yung defense na nangiinip. Okay, ikaw din dito. Okay, tumagba ng bola. Now listen, I want Paul. Si Paul ang lalabas sa screen ha. Maliwanag. Let's go, Jacob.
All right, there we have our playoffs leaders in rebounds per game. This should be no surprise to everybody watching the Mpbl.
15.3 rebounds. That's already a shade down what we were used to seeing in the regular season. It was close to 20 during the regular season para kay Balti Baltazar. But he continues to lord it over in that department here in the postseason.
By the way, big shout out to Ian Melencio, who averaged 11.7 rebounds per game for Muntinlupa. Here's the play drawn up by Coach Robert. And that's a conversion by Paul Sanga.
They ran it to the T. That's exactly what Coach Robert wanted. He called for the flex offense of the Caloocan Batang Kangalu. Let's watch it again here. You have Cervantes setting up Paul Sanga. Yan mismo ang sinabi ni Coach Robert. Paul, I want you coming off of the screen. And that's exactly what they did. Here's another look at that. JLC coming off late as he tried to fight over due to that screen set by Red Cervantes after the handoff.
That's a two-pointer, bringing the output of Paul Sanga to 8 points. Now let's listen in to Pampanga's huddle. It looks like we won't be able to listen in. Sayang yun! That could have been very interesting to actually listen into Governor Coach Dennis Delta Pineda. There you see him drawing up a play on the other end. You can only wonder who he wants for Pampanga to try to score in these last 9 seconds.
And you know, for many people who doubt the coaching capability of Governor Dennis Delta Pineda, this is a guy who has been around basketball for practically his entire life. Nagsimula yan in the NBA when Pampanga had a team there, and he continued to be involved with Pampanga's basketball program up to this day. At nakita mo naman kung gaano ka successful ang naging programa niya.
6 seconds. Balti Baltazar against John Lee Valin. Encho Serrano with 2 threes to his name. Going to MJ. His three-pointer is good!
Wow. I'm not particularly sure that's what they drew up. MJ Garcia, not the guy you expect taking the last shot, more so an outside shot. This was an emergency pass for Encho Serrano because time was running out, and Galicia did a good job of stepping out and challenging what could have been a shot attempt for Encho Serrano.
Now, this lucky fan of the game, or fans of the game, is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. You did mention, even though MJ's not really known for his shooting ability, he's not the type to shy away from launching from downtown. The score at halftime is 42-38 in game number 2.
sumasaya kapag may labay nagkakaisa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, basketball na. Ang bawat labay pinaghahandaan, kaya yumayanig ang bakbakan. Todo suporta ang lahat sa kanya-kanyang kupunan. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mpbl na! Mpbl na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Mpbl na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Ang bawat laban ay nakakakaba, dahil sa husay ng bawat isa. Sigawan ay yumayanig kapag nag-3 points na. Bawat bayay di patatalo, buong barangay ay suportado. Kahit ano ang mangyari, sama-sama tayo. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mpbl na! Mpbl na! Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. Sumasaya kapag may labay nagkakaisa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, basketball na. Ang bawat labay pinaghahandaan, kaya yumayanig ang bakbakan. Todo suporta ang lahat sa kanya-kanyang kupunan. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Ang bawat laban ay nakakakaba, dahil sa husay ng bawat isa. Sigawan ay yumayanig kapag nag 3 points na. Bawat bayay di patatalo, buong barangay ay suportado. Kahit ano ang mangyari, sama-sama tayo. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. MPBL, Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. Sumasaya kapag may labay nagkakaisa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, basketball na. Ang bawat labay pinaghahandaan, kaya yumayanig ang bakbakan. Todo suporta ang lahat sa kanya-kanyang kupunan. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Sigawan na yumayanig kapag nag 3 points na. Bawat bayay di patatalo, buong barangay ay suportado. Kahit ano ang mangyari, sama-sama tayo. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag maalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na! MPBL na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. MPBL na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. Sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. MPBL, Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. Ang bawat bayan ay sumasaya kapag may labay nagkakaisa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, basketball na. Ang bawat labay pinaghahandaan, kaya yumayanig ang bakbakan. Todo suporta ang lahat sa kanya-kanyang kubunan. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na! MPBL na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. MPBL na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. Ang bawat laban ay nakakakaba, dahil sa husay ng bawat isa. Sigawan na yumayanig kapag nag 3 points na. Bawat bayay di patatalo, buong barangay ay suportado. Kahit ano ang mangyari, sama-sama tayo. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag maalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na! MPBL na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. MPBL na! Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. Sa Luzon, sa Visayas at Mindanao. MPBL, Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. sumasaya kapag may labay nagkakaisa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, basketball.
Archie Conteston bounces to Balti, and that's the first Balti slam in the semifinals. Going to MJ, Garcia will fly! Up, and away. As MJ drives, their kick out. Santos for 3. Yes, sir.
One game at a time lang muna. We need to focus on Caloocan muna. Kung iintindihin namin yan at hindi pa tapos tong series namin, medyo problema yon. Stay focused lang muna kami dito. Dito lang muna kami.
Maybe Caloocan can give us a good answer in game number 2. We're back inside the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City for game number 2 between Pampanga and Caloocan. Obviously, this is a much better start for Caloocan. Batang Kalu having led for the first time in this series, and we've seen 16 lead changes and 5 deadlocks already in this match.
And that only speaks to the competitiveness of this matchup that we have here in Game 2. If you look at the numbers here after the first 20 minutes of action, both teams shooting at an almost same rate from the field, 45 and 44% respectively for Pampanga and Caloocan. One of the biggest differences here in the first half was Caloocan was able to force Pampanga into 10 turnovers, which resulted into 14 turnover points for the Batang Kalu. They've also brought a big difference inside the shaded area where Pampanga has usually dominated in this series, 20-12 in that department, as well as being able to get 11 fast break points against the 5 of the Giant Lanterns.
Let's compare the statistics in game number 1. In game number 1, Caloocan only had 15 fast break points as compared to their 11 already in this game. 22 points in the paint in game number 1 and 20 already in the first half in game number 2. See the leading scorers of Pampanga, JLC with 9, Baltazar has 8, MJ has 8 with 2 3-pointers to his name, and Archie has 7 as well. On the other end, it's the interim star of FEU, Paul Sanga with 8 points. Mac Barakael had a showdown against Arvin Santos. He scored 7 points in the second quarter. Monsubre had 6, Cabanag had 5 as well for Caloocan Batang Kalu. Again, the stakes are these. If Caloocan wins, we will head back to the Brenzigiao Convention Center this coming Monday for game number 3, regardless of what happens between Nueva Ecija and San Juan later on. If Pampanga wins, they will advance to the North Division Finals, and they will await the victors between the Knights and the Vanguards. As now we begin the second half, that's a good look. Cervantes from downtown.
You see Paul Sanga, he already knew that Real Cervantes was going to be able to knock that down, flashing the 3 sign with both hands after he made that pass.
It's now 42-41. JLC, that's his spot.
And now this is a guy that Caloocan has to put some attention to after being the top scorer in the first half. He continues to be in that kind of role here for the Giant Lanterns to start the third quarter with that 3-point shot.
In the first half, you asked everybody to not forget about the scoring abilities of JLC as Jael Cervantes scores inside. Remember, once upon a time, John Lloyd Clemente was the leading scorer of the NU Bulldogs in the UAAP. As Serrano bounces, Balti will finish.
That's too easy. How many times have we seen that play become so successful for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns when you have Encho Serrano and Justin Baltazar involved in the 2-man game? Great pocket pass by Encho, finding Baltazar on the roll. But what about Caloocan coming out of the locker rooms on fire from the outside?
That should be a highlight in itself for Irvin Palencia, who slipped unintentionally, and he recovered with a 3-pointer. Leaner for Encho, no good. Offensive rebound, good block by June Bonsubre.
A lousy effort, giving Baltazar another opportunity in the offensive glass, but good defensive stance by June Bonsubre that leads to another 3-pointer here for Real Cervantes.
That's the third 3-pointer of Caloocan in the third quarter alone. Cervantes in this game, now up to 9 points. Here's JLC, no good from downtown. Rebound, Caloocan. Palencia Onto Paul Sanga for the 4th 3 of Caloocan to Mpbl. 47-49. Enzo Serrano, 2-man game. Serrano drives. Serrano, basket and one.
I think this is also the time that Serrano needs to start taking over here for Pampanga.
This move of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Enzo Serrano just bodying up Irvin Palencia. Obviously, he's much bigger. He's stronger, even though Palencia might be quicker. And there's the advantage from Enzo. Now we go back to the keys to victory for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns.
And number 1, rev up your engines, something that Pampanga wasn't able to do in the first half. As we already mentioned, only 5 fast break points for the Giant Lanterns in that first half. Number 2, you shall not pass. We talked about how they shouldn't let Caloocan set up in the half court because that is one of the strengths of the Batang Kankalu. They haven't been able to do that. That's an X mark para rin sa kanila. Number 3 is limit to 1 and done. That's the only check mark for Pampanga Giant Lanterns in that first half because the Batang Kankalu have only been able to hit 2 second chance points so far in the first half.
So 1 check for Pampanga. How many for Caloocan?
Oh, the same here for the Batang Kankalu. Let's get physical. That's a check mark para sa kanila. We saw the increased intensity on the defensive end of the floor, making it more difficult for the Giant Lanterns to get into their offensive sense. Number 2, box out. That I put an X mark on that just because they were still out-rebounded by 4 in the first half, but still a better job compared to the first half of Game 1. Lastly, as we see another 3-point shot there by Paul Sanga. Lastly, that's an X mark also in dimming the light of the brightest lantern of the Pampanga squad because Balti Baltasar was able to score 8 points in that first half.
Here's Balti, feed inside. Nice escape. You mentioned even though this time around he gets double teamed by Caloocan, he still finds ways in order for Pampanga to score.
We're very much familiar with his scoring capabilities, but because he's seen so many double teams throughout his entire career, he is so used to looking for that open man. Whenever somebody comes to double, it is very apparent that one guy will become open on offense for Pampanga.
That's why at some point in the season, Balti was actually in the top 10 of assists per game in the whole of the Mpbl as Tayong Tong got fouled on the floor.
That's why he is the model piece to build a franchise around of. He's a guy who can score, dominate on the glass, but the biggest thing for me is he's such a willing passer. He's not afraid to let go of that basketball and let his other teammates shine, contribute in other aspects of the game.
If I may go away from play-by-play for a while here, as Real Cervantes fakes and drives, and Cervantes is fouled, I want to go back to that narrative because you brought up the term franchise player. And we've been talking about Orlan Mamar all season long being a franchise player of the San Juan Knights. Now with the logic of Balti Baltazar as the franchise player of Pampanga, and with our quality of play being leveled up each and every year here in the Mpbl, it makes me wonder, which other franchise players can other teams build around here in this league?
Well, definitely those 2 players that you just mentioned are 2 players that you can build your franchises around. Guys who have that leadership quality, first of all. And second, of course, you have to have a guy who can dominate on more than one aspect of the game. Orlan Mamar with his playmaking and his scoring ability, Balti Baltazar with his scoring and rebounding ability, plus his passing ability as well. So those are the 2 aspects that franchise players need to have. Leadership, being vocal on and off the floor, plus the dominance factor in more than one aspect of the game.
The thing is, we can't just limit ourselves to the players that we have in the league already. Just like Balti, he's a newcomer in the Mpbl, and yet he is this franchise player of Pampanga as Archie Concepcion makes a 3-pointer. Makes us wonder who else can come into the league and actually dominate like Balti.
That's why hindi pa natatapos tong season na to, and I'm already excited for year number 6. Which players will be coming on and proving their worth here sa Liga ng Bawat Pilipino?
Oh, forward pass. Good stop by Pampanga and an easy layup for JLC. Pampanga slowly getting some momentum. Missed by Sanga. Rebound Bonsubre. Again, he's playing sick. There's the kick out. Palencia to Sanga. Top shot. That's short. And now Pampanga's running. 4-on-2. Archie Concepcion. 2 free throws.
Pampanga starting to rev it up here in the third quarter, pushing the pace. After each and every stop, they're looking to run MJ Garcia, finding Archie Concepcion on the wings. And Tayong Tong having no other recourse but the foul. This was the wide open, cherry-picking finish for John Lloyd Clemente, the play before the last.
Archie now is at the stripe for 2 gimmies. Still haven't seen some substitutions in the third quarter. And now Mac Baracael and Gabby Espinas are ready to check in, as Coach Aldin Ayo is giving some instructions to the coaching staff of Pampanga. And now, NJ Garcia's hearing about it on the court. So let's see what changes might happen for the white shirts. Archie misfires. Rebound to Caloocan. They're down by 2.
Kahit sa ensayo ng Pampanga, these guys are very much involved. Coach Aldin Ayo, we even saw Coach Raiko Toroman running practice one time for Pampanga before the start of this postseason.
What a luxury for the Giant Lanterns. A miss there by Bonsubre. Forward pass. 2-on-1. Bajío will finish.
Not as productive as he was in the first half of Game 1, but here in the third quarter, as soon as he came in, he saw the opportunity to get ahead of the pack, getting the forward pass and finishing with the 2 points.
So now Pampanga's revving it up in the third quarter. As we present to you this exceptional pass of the game, brought to you by Boracay de la Ia, the official hotel and resort of the Mpbl. John Lloyd Clemente finding JB Bajío, who, if you think about it, is a really quick big man as compared to the other big men in this league.
That's correct. And he has the ability to handle the basketball as well. That adds to his versatility.
So now JB Bajío gives Pampanga a 4-point advantage, 60-56, as you head into this timeout.
Itaas ang kamay at tulungan si Balti. Migs, alam ko, kanina ka pa curious kung paano ang huddle sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Well, aside sa compose naman ng kanilang energy, paalala lang sa kanila na lumaban pa rin sa offensive rebounding at tulungan si Balti. Sabi nga ng coaches, okay naman daw yung depensa kanina eh. Kulang lang sila sa hustle, yung tatakbo at makipag-unahan sa bola. Simple, pero tingnan natin kung paano nila gagawin ngayong second half. Migs and Abby.
That's certainly a good point. Yes, you have your brightest star in Balti Baltazar, but you need your other stars in the Galaxy to help out Mr. Balti himself. Lalo na't nakikita natin na mas composed ang Caloocan Batang Kankalo here in game number 2. Before this game, I was able to talk to Jaggy Lauder, and he said there's actually a theme going on with Caloocan approaching this matchup, and that theme was exhibited to us by the Golden State Warriors back in the day. It's strength in numbers. That's something that they have to do in order to counter Balti. And so, if there are numbers for Caloocan, if you're Pampanga, you also want to be able to present your numbers against Batang Kankalo.
Exactly. These are two of the most loaded franchises rosters that we have here this season. But obviously, Pampanga boasts a lot more talent, and they have the advantage of youth and athleticism on their side.
60-56, Bajío, bothered by Gabby Espinas. Bajío recovers. The Cebuano spins, and he misses. Is there a whistle blown? Oh, it was a shot clock violation. It's too loud here in Nueva Ecija for us to even hear the buzzer.
A lot of people already here in the venue, plus the drums, the trumpets.
And this is not even the home game.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the stakes later on? Nueva Ecija is actually just one loss away from being eliminated in the MPBL's 5th season. I'm sure Coach Jerson Gabiltes and company have something to say about that. And they do have their fans aiding them here in Palayan City. As a foul is called, a late foul called on Balti Baltazar.
They've really been trying to attack whoever Balti is defending. Now in that opportunity, it was Gabby Espinas. I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Mike Perez, who gave us that keen observation that whomever Balti is guarding, they want that guy to attack the defense.
Is Balti in foul trouble? Doesn't seem to be, no? But imagine if that would actually be the case for Caloocan. You can eliminate the brightest lantern of Pampanga. And we can't underestimate the bag of Mr. Espinas himself. He can be very crafty even though he's up there in terms of age.
Although his free throw shooting has not been very up to par here in this game. Usually a good free throw shooter, itong si Espinas. He's missed 3 of his last 4, I believe.
There's a foul. Too much pressure from Mac Baracael. He has 3 fouls already. Here's MJ Garcia. He drives. MJ escapes.
Atrocious defense there. Baracael giving up right away, but we also have to remind everybody that he is playing with 3 personal fouls, so he's trying to be careful as well.
Baracael, nice fake. He just got Bahia flying, and Mac Baracael scores.
But at least on the offensive side of things, hindi siya magtitimpi dyan after what was a great second quarter showing by Baracael, taking on Arvin Santos in that period. He's gonna try to continue and produce here for Caloocan despite being in foul trouble.
Espinas just blocked Bahia. Caloocan's down by 3. Palencia will go to Gabi. Balti Baltazar has 3 fouls to his name. Espinas trying to exploit the big man. No basket. Ball out of bounds in favor of Pampanga.
This might be the second or third time that Espinas has been trying to fish for a foul against Baltazar but has not been able to get it. He's been trying to lean into the body and wait for the whistle. He should know better that these calls will not always be called, especially at this point of the season.
Palencia, 3-on-3. Palencia is fouled.
Espinas is going to have to try harder, just like what Palencia did there, pushing it and really absorbing the contact, because Pampanga had no choice but to try and slap the ball away from Irvin, who was on the way to an easy 2 points. Nobody was stopping the basketball.
In game number 1, Irvin Palencia had 2 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals to his name. First free throw is long. We have 1 minute and 58 to go in the third quarter of game number 2. Coach Robert Season coached only 2 games in the regular season. And this is already the 5th game in the playoffs for Caloocan Batang Canculu, but only a grand total of 7 games coached by Robert Season in the MPBL.
In Caloocan, they continue to struggle from the line here in the third quarter. Had they been making all of their free throws, they could have been in the lead already.
Couple of substitutions. Let's enumerate the 5. We have Joko Tayongtong, Irvin Palencia, Paul Sanga, Mac Baracael, and Rory Matias for Caloocan. And then we have Raymond Binuya, Archie Concepcion, Neil Tolentino, JB Bahio, and Ronan Santos now is making his first appearance in this game for Pampanga. Binuya for 3. That's long. Rebound Sanga.
Oh, these Pampanga guards have certainly been not afraid to shoot from the outside.
Tayong Tong saw an opening and he exploited it.
That's one of the strengths of Joko Tayong-Tong, being the stocky guard that he is. Each time he drives to the basket with the defender still in front of him, he can so easily make contact by bumping and making that separation.
And that's against the bigger Archie Concepcion as Santos misses. Rebound Matias. A chance now for Caloocan to regain the lead. Paul Sanga. He catches, he fires, and scores.
Wow, 3-point shooting here in the third quarter for the Batang Kangkalu. Just spectacular.
And Jennifer Cabanag was about to check in for Paul Sanga. He was the one who told Coach Robert, mamaya na ako papasok. This Paul might just actually have some momentum for himself. Ronan Santos double teamed. That's a foul.
Oh, even outside of Justin Baltazar, Caloocan going to the double there on Ronan Santos, who's making his first appearance in this game. Santos is also not to be someone you could take lightly. This is a guy who is a starting caliber player in the league. Just so happens he has to be playing behind more talented players in their squad.
Santos misses his first free throw. Free throw shooting in this quarter now at 2 out of 5 for Pampanga. Only 40%, but Caloocan's shooting way worse at 2 out of 8. 25% from the stripe. Santos converts, making it 3 out of 6, 50% for Pampanga.
Those are numbers I'm sure Caloocan will look at the end of this game, regardless of the outcome, because these are things that you have to take advantage of. These are the little things that amount to such big outcomes.
That's a foul on Paul Sanga, which will mean free throws again for Pampanga. Not the best of passes as Paul tried to go to Mac Barakel and then Mac lost the ball. And how about JB Bahio playing extended minutes here in the third quarter?
I believe Governor Dennis Delta Pineda is trying to give ample rest to Justin Baltazar. He trusts that JB has that capability to produce just like he did in game 1. I saw Irvin Palencia try to hug JB after that missed first free throw.
Oh, he didn't just try. He was successful with that hug. And he even... Actually, he might have influenced that free throw missed by JB. Although JB got the board again and he will go back to the stripe. Now he's getting some more words from Irvin Palencia.
That's been Irvin's calling card throughout his career. You know, to play with the minds. It doesn't matter which position. He's gonna try to really rattle you and make you think twice about what you're gonna do.
Pero kasi hindi mo pwede ma-technical foul yun eh. No?
He's not doing anything violent. Kinakausap niya lang naman eh.
Kaya nga eh. Kung tutusin, lambing
pa, tama.
It's a sportsman-like gesture by Irvin Palencia as JB Bahio just made his first free throw. Second one is no good. That's a push. It's on Ronan. And that means free throws on the other side.
Correct. Both teams already over the limit. That's a veteran play by Ronnie Matias. He already knew that Ronan Santos was gonna be trying to get in front of him. Kaya inunahan niya agad bago pa nakatira ng free throw ito si JB Bahio.
The free throw struggle continues here in the third quarter. 64 all with 24 seconds to go. Ronnie Matias with his second free throw.
We'd like to greet Toton Bringas of the Makati OK Bet Kings. Pati na rin ang kanyang misis na si Julie Ann at ang kapatid niyang si Jean and ang kanilang mama na si Zoila. Happy watching to you guys.
For a second there, I thought RB was playing in this game, but no. Shout out to you, RB Bringas, as well, wherever you may be. By the way, Tonton, since you are watching, shout out to your team. That was a nice series between Makati and San Juan. 64 all, give and go. Paul Sanga, in and out. Ball tapped and recovered by Pampanga. Archie on the run. Concepcion will fly up and under with some magic in the air. 6 seconds, Cabanag with a pull-up. That's long. Rebound para Kael. 3 seconds, Mac misses. And what a way to end the third quarter.
I do not know why Cabanag did not give up that basketball to Mac Barakael, who was wide open near the basket in the front court of Caloocan. But you look at this last play, that conversion by Pampanga, there is no way you could have defended that better if you were Joko Tayongtong. Archie Concepcion just super athletic and great body control as well to finish on the right side coming from the left.
That gives Pampanga the lead, 66-64 as we end the third quarter. There you see our marquee matchup for game number 2, the shooting guards of Pampanga and Caloocan.
We saw a much more promising start from Jeremy Cabanag to start this game. However, Archie Concepcion also was very determined to make up for his subpar performance in game 1, and that's why he leads this player matchup 13-5 as we enter the fourth and final frame.
Big time performance for Archie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did we not see Encho Serrano in the third quarter?
Oh, he was in the third quarter.
Oh, he started, right?
He started.
Just didn't end the third frame. Archie, though, ended the third frame with an acrobatic layup. Cabanag tried to counter it with a three-pointer on the fast break, but to your point, his shot was too early. This is game number 2. 10 minutes to go for Caloocan and Pampanga as Batang Kankalu tries to force a game number 3 this coming Monday back in Pampanga. The Giant Lanterns have a different idea, as they would want to close out this series in 2 games. And they shall await, if ever they win, the victors between the San Juan Knights and the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards, who will also be playing later on in Game 2 of their very own North Division semifinal series. Thank you for joining us. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Sydney Crespo as we come to you live from the Nueva Ecija Coliseum, the home of the Mpbl's 4th season champions, the Rice Vanguards. Balti is being defended by Real Cervantes. Balti will shoot and he will miss. And that's a foul on the rebounding sequence.
Long shot, long rebound, and that's the difficulty when you're playing zone. As you look at the quarter scoring right there on your screen, both teams really roaring in that third period, 24-26. Still anybody's ball game here as we enter the fourth quarter.
Here's Encho against Jeremy Cabanag. Serrano, tough turnaround. That's too strong. And Caloocan's on the run. Joko Tayongtong, one man to beat. Tayongtong will score.
Nothing much Raymond Binuea could have done in that play. That's a great outlet pass by Paul Sanga on the way to Tayongtong for the 2 points.
66 all. Ronan Santos working with Encho Serrano. He has 2 threes to his name. Encho goes to Binuea. Now on to Balti against Real Cervantes. Balti escapes. 2+1.
The difference on that play right there for Balti Baltazar compared to his first touch of the basketball on the other side of the court where he took that outside shot is here. He went for the quick jab and right away attacked the defense of Real Cervantes, and the double wasn't able to come.
This move of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Justin Balti Baltazar now proceeds to the line.
Well, the double did come, but it was late. That's why the foul was called at Tayongtong.
Ooh, almost a turnover there by Ronnie Matias. Balik tayo sa Caloocan. They're down by 2. Just a minute gone by in the fourth quarter. Tayongtong off of the double cross. Kick out Cervantes. He will fire. That's short. Rebound to Tolentino. And Binuea will now turn the ball over.
Careless handling of the rock right there for Raymond Binuea. He tried to push that basketball. It was too much as it sailed out of bounds.
Binuea will now take a breather as MJ Garcia returns for Pampanga. MJ had that buzzer beater in the second quarter with a three-pointer to lead us to halftime. That's a foul, a hold on Encho.
Cabana got Serrano on his hip as he tried to move out of those two screens.
Sideline inbound, Cabanag working with Joko Tayongtong, Real Cervantes, Ronnie Matias, and Paul Sanga. Joko with 11 on the shot clock, he attacks. There's the kick out, Cervantes. He fakes. Three-pointer, that's long. Rebound, Ronnie. Another kick, Joko. He leans in and passes. Matias against Balti, tough reverse. Numbers for Pampanga. Garcia to Encho. Serrano, lefty layup.
Very dangerous when you gamble on the fast break against Pampanga because they're so good, as well as their length and their athleticism, that it's pretty much a sure 2 points when you try to gamble on the break.
Another sorry miss by Ronnie Matias. MJ Garcia. Sorry miss, 2 free throws.
Wow. This is the first time I have seen Baltazar all riled up in giving instructions to Enzo Serrano.
Now this assist of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Serrano finishing on that sequence, but that was before what you just mentioned. Balti not being too happy on Encho because they had a 3-on-1 opportunity, but Encho stayed on the 3-point line.
A whole season, these two guys have been the most important pieces for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, but never have I seen Balti exhibit emotion on the floor before what happened.
Even if his opponents would try to play mind games with him, he would stay calm. More often than not, he would actually laugh at his opponents and laugh at himself for all of the physicality that he has received in the season. After the free throw conversion, we now have a timeout for Caloocan as they're down by 5, 71-56 or 71-66. With 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter.
And to the Provincial Administrator Attorney Alejandro Abistamis.
Is that Sir Bong Cuevas? Yeah, he's good to go. Ironically, he's wearing orange. Not the colors of Nueva Ecija, but the colors of Pampanga. As now we present to you our Suzuki muscular and sporty fans of the game. Just like the Avenus, do more and achieve more with the muscular and sporty scooter from Suzuki, the Avenus. Oras na para magmotor. We are coming to you live from the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City for game number 2 of Pampanga versus Caloocan. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Sidney Crespo. Caloocan is down by 5 with a lot of time to go. They're fighting for survival in the 5th season of the Mpbl. Here's Cervantes. He fakes and drives. Cervantes, no foul called. Recovery. And Ronnie Matias will go to the line.
At least the effort was there for Caloocan. They shut down the initial attack by Real Cervantes, having 2 guys in front of Cervantes as he drove to the basket. Never really stood a chance against the Twin Towers of Baltazar and Ronan Santos. A good thing Matias was available for the emergency pass.
And just so everybody knows, Ronan Santos is as tall as Baltazar. So what you just mentioned with them being the Twin Towers, it's literally a Twin Towers today for Pampanga. JLC will return for Neil Tolentino. He joined Santos, Baltazar, MJ Garcia, and Enzo Serrano.
I can hear Coach Robert Season, despite all of the noise here in the venue, shouting, guys, we need a stop.
Cervantes putting on the pressure against Balti. There's the cutter. Santos, no good. And there's the stop.
That's a rush shot for Pampanga. They could have rotated the ball further.
Cervantes for the tie. Yes, sir.
What about Rael Cervantes really delivering here in this game para dito sa Caloocan Batang Caloo. A starter here in this match.
8 deadlocks. Now it's broken up as Encho Serrano just answered back with his three-pointer of his own.
Serrano also hit the timely outside shot in the third quarter that helped Pampanga regain the lead, and he does the same here in that prior possession. Let's see if Cabana can answer.
To no avail, rebound Ronnie Matias. He's been grabbing those offensive boards. Cervantes fakes. He kicks out. Valencia thought about it for a while. 5 on the shot clock. Irvin, there's the kick out. Cervantes, 1 on the shot clock. He has to fire. No good. Ronnie Matias again with the board. Coach Robert telling everybody to slow down. 2-man game. Valencia for 3. That's short.
What was he thinking, Irvin Palencia? That was not the shot that Caloocan wanted in that recycle after the offensive rebound by Matias.
Sorry miss. 2 sorry misses, but there's the putback by Balti Baltazar.
Now that's a problem when you go up against a team as talented and as tall as Pampanga. You miss a shot. In fact, those were numerous opportunities for the Batang Caloo in the prior possession. When Pampanga goes back, you somehow face a deflated defense and the effort goes down. That's why it allowed Baltazar to go for the offensive rebound and stick back.
Cabana could not answer back. Rebound Serrano. Pampanga has complete momentum now in the fourth quarter. They're up by 5. Almost halfway done in this frame. Baltazar on the pick and roll. Basket and 1.
Whenever the Giant Lanterns involve Baltazar on the screen and roll action, Caloocan has not been able to stop the pocket pass on the go-to basket for Justin Baltazar.
This assist of the game is brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. The 2 brightest stars for Pampanga connecting on that play once again in the 5th season of the Mpbl. Balti is nearing 20 points already in this matchup. Nice dime by his longtime friend and longtime teammate Encho Serrano. The lead is now 7 points, which is relatively a big lead already in this game. For a premium experience and an exceptional stay, again, we present to you Boracay de la Ia, the official hotel and resort of the Mpbl. That's way down south. Today, we are way up north with our VIPs, Satar Macantal, Rudy Distrito, Kenneth Durendes, Emer Oreta, with George Maxino, our head of referees as well, present at the sideline. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Sidney Crespo. Balti Baltazar has 16 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. But he just missed his bonus free throw.
7-point lead now, 3-possession ball game for the Giant Lanterns and the Batang Caloo. Let's see how Caloocan will be able to respond after that timeout.
This is a big 3. Valencia misses. Rebound Clemente. Pampanga is now trying to increase its biggest lead.
Sometimes when you're free, there's a reason why the defense leaves you wide open, and Palencia is not a good 3-point shooter.
No good there for Bahio. Nice block by Ronnie, but Balti recovers. Bahio again. Feet inside. Encho Serrano. No basket.
That should have been an offensive foul against Serrano as he warded off Paul Sanga.
Serrano, two-man game. Enzo spins his way. That's his favorite.
Indeed. And ironically, we haven't seen that move in a while coming from Serrano because it has really been covered well by multiple defenses. But on that occasion, ran it to perfection.
16 points now in this game for Enzo Serrano. That's after only having 9 in game number 1. Mac Baracael on the ISO. That's no good. Forward pass. Enzo, one-on-one action. He has a trailer. And Bahio will finish.
And Caloocan is slowly crumbling here in the fourth quarter. That resolve that they showed in the first half and in the third quarter, paunti-unti nang bumababa dito sa ating payoff period. Look at that. Crossover, the double, and then the spin to the right for Enzo Serrano, finishing with that one-hander and then setting up JB Bahio for that scoop inside the paint.
JB Bahio hasn't rested here in the second half, but it's all worth it for him as he connects with Enzo Serrano. Biggest lead extended, 82-71. Enzo Serrano, in game number 1, you see his statistics.
Only 9 points, 4 out of 12 from the field, plus 3 rebounds and 3 dimes. Tonight, he has definitely outshone those numbers in game 1 with 16 points already, plus a lot of timely baskets.
Now that's a timely basket by Jennifer Cabanag. Caloocan is still fighting for a chance to extend this series. Coach Robert Season is fired up at the sideline. 3 minutes and 20. It's a foul on Jennifer Cabanag.
This is definitely not yet over, but if Pampanga will be able to knock down their free throws in this 3 minute and 19 duration of this game, as we look at that 3-point shot knocked down by Cabanag, then they will be effectively putting out the Batang Kankalu in this one.
First one is good for Enzo Serrano, who's closing into 20 points in game number 2 in front of these Kapampangans in Nueva Ecija. Just a while ago, they were chanting "Uwi na" as they're getting ready to celebrate if they move up to the North Division Finals. 2 for 2 for Enzo Serrano. 84-74, 3 minutes and 15. Joko Tayungtong, they're gonna set up Paul Sanga. No find there. Now it's Jennifer popping out. That's a good look. Cabanag misfires.
Kung anong init ng Caloocan in the third quarter, sila namang lumamig dito in the fourth. Cabanag, Sanga, all of these guys unable to hit the mark, even Real Cervantes.
Two-man game. They pass to the right. MJ for 3. Bombs away.
MJ Garcia, what a performance from beyond the arc in this game. 3 3-pointers for MJ Garcia. All of them important baskets, but none more important than that last one as he extends the lead to 13 points.
And absolutely no more hesitation from MJ shooting from downtown. Last year, he's the type who you would leave wide open from the three-point area.
And that stroke looks more fluid right now. There's not much stoppage anymore as he rises up for that three-point shot. There used to be a hitch on that stroke of his, pero ngayon mas suwabe na eh.
It's an overall improvement on the game of MJ Garcia. It's obvious to see the muscle on his arms. Obviously, he's bulked up. He's much more stronger in this year's campaign. He flies high, but now with his shooting as well, you think he actually has, the potential to be an all-star in this league?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he's still on the younger side of things, and he has all of the time in the world to work on the weaknesses of his game. And by being with this kind of program under Pampanga, he definitely has all the resources around him to get better. And also add to the fact that he was drafted in the recently concluded PBA draft. So I know he also still practices with the Converge Fiber Xers even if he wasn't signed, because this is practically the same management. So, to be around these kinds of people, these kinds of players, these kinds of coaches, just really motivates you a lot to rise your game.
And we've seen it in a couple of players na ever since they got drafted, ever since they were selected as all-stars, umaangat talaga yung kanilang level of play here in the Mpbl. There's a review happening on the court, which is why we have a bit of a delay with only 2.5 minutes to go. Now the Kapampangans are just enjoying their time in Palayan City. Referees will now talk to Richard Campos.
The one review is an offensive foul on number 21, Ronnie Matias, is third.
There's a charge on Ronnie Matias, so Pampanga will get possession again. Ronnie Matias is being joined by Joko Tayongtong, Real Cervantes, Jeremy Cabanag, and Paul Sanga. We haven't seen much of Gabby Espinas, right, in the second half?
That's correct. It has been a lot more of Ronnie Matias at that 5 position para sa Caloocan.
Scoring in this quarter, 21-10. Basically, that's the difference of this game. Only 2 points separating these two in the third. Another signature spin by Encho Serrano.
He's taken over this match here in the fourth quarter. Encho Serrano just really aggressively attacking the basket.
Now there's a foul on MJ Garcia. And Cabanag will proceed to the line. 99.99% of the time, the spin is faking left and going right for Encho Serrano, and yet he's still hard to stop.
And add to that, it was also coming off another two-man game with Baltazar. Caloocan tried to force Serrano to attack the basket, of which he's so good at, eliminating Baltazar, but you then highlight the capability of Encho Serrano to go to the rim and finish.
Encho has the ball again. He's been doing the closing so far for Pampanga. Last 2 minutes, two-man game. Serrano, tough pass. JLC off to the left, rebound. MJ, he's blocked. Ball out of bounds.
1 minute and 52 remaining. This is looking to become like a lost cause here for the Batang Kankalu, but let's see if a miracle can still happen here for the boys of Coach Robert's season.
Here's Joko Tayongtong against Encho Serrano. Cabanag will attack. Tough pass. Matias recovers. Joko cuts. And he's bothered by Balti. Also blown against Caloocan with 94 seconds to go.
And the tough part about that is that's another foul against the Batang Kankalu. Thankfully, they're not yet going to shoot free throws, talking about Pampanga.
Encho Serrano being defended by Jeremy Cabanag. Approaching the last 80 seconds of this game. Two-man game. That has been the play for the past couple of possessions. Baltazar with 4 to work with. He goes to JB. Bahio leans in and scores.
That's the thing. Excellent observation there, Migs. They haven't really been running anything special. It's just that the two guys running the two-man game are very special.
Tayongtong made a 2-pointer on the other end. Time is running out. Under a minute to go. And it's a 14-point advantage for Pampanga. Just so everybody knows, game number 1 of the North Division Finals will happen Saturday next week That's November 11. As Encho Serrano scores inside.
He's just simply putting the finishing touches in this one. And looks like Caloocan is now waving the white flag as Coach Robert Season has already moved on over to the other side to congratulate Governor Dennis Delta Pineda and the rest of the Pampanga staff. What a series it's been, although it's been dominated by the Giant Lanterns. You still gotta give it to Caloocan for trying to keep it step with such a talented, athletic, young, and very promising core.
Perfectly put. There you have it. A brilliant, brilliant start for this game. For Caloocan, Batang Kankalu, they kept at it with a ton of deadlocks and lead changes in game number 2. But then again, Pampanga will move on to our North Division Finals to await the victors between the San Juan Knights and the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. Game number 1 will happen Saturday next week inside the Brenzi Giao Convention Center. As we also congratulate Coach Robert Season and the rest of Caloocan Batang Kankalu for giving us a wonderful campaign in the 5th season of the Mpbl. But we have to congratulate ultimately our player of the game, brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. At some point, it was Balti Baltazar, but this guy in the last minutes of the game just put it away for Pampanga.
Yeah, he really closed out this matchup para sa Giant Lanterns, put on the finishing touches for his squad, making up for his subpar performance in Game 1 where he only scored 9 points, made sure that he put on the necessary production that his team needed from him. You know, if you're the star player of your squad, you can't be good for just 9 points and expect to close out the series against a talented team like Caloocan. And Encho Serrano just made sure that he would be able to do everything that he could in his power to salvage this game, turn it around, and sweep the series.
Encho is down with Sidney Crespo.
Well, Mix and Javi, hindi lang si Encho Serrano ang kasama ko ngayon, kung hindi ang buong Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Makikita naman natin kung gaano sila kasaya ngayon, no? At para sa mga nanonood na kaliga natin, ito ay dahil first time nilang makarating sa North Division Finals. At Encho, anong masasabi mo na ikaw ang isa sa mga rason kung bakit mangyayari to?
Siguro yung hard work lang namin everyday. Kahit na minsan, kahit na nananalo kami, siyempre nandyan pa din yung mga struggle namin. So yun, ginagawa namin motivation kasi bakit kami susuko yung boss nga namin at mga coaches namin di kami sinusukuan. So yun, ginagawa lang namin yung best namin and yun nga, yun lahat ng tulong ng mga boss namin. Siyempre, gusto namin maging masaya sila. Yun lang.
Encho, balikan natin yung laro saglit, no? Kayo nasa halftime, sabi ng mga coaches, tulungan nyo si Balti, itaas nyo yung kamay nyo at lumaban sa offensive rebounding. Paano kayo naging kalmado para ma-execute to?
Ayun nga, siyempre, alam naman namin na hirap na si Balti. Tsaka, alam na yung frustration niya, pagod na pagod siya. So yun, ginawa lang namin yung makakaya namin na matulong sa kanya. Nag-usap-usap kami na huwag kami magsisiyan sa loob ng court kasi nga dikit kanina. So yun, at least maganda naman na overcome namin yung hirap ni Balti na natulong namin.
Alright, Encho, ngayon deserve mo to. Sinong gusto mong batiin at pasalamatan?
Unang-una, nagpapasalamat ako sa Panginoon na binigay niya ng panalo sa amin. Yung asawa ng pinsan ko, si Kuya Darren Morales, Kagawad. And happy birthday kay Boss Nad Navarro. Sa mga taga-Palit dyan, taga-Santo Niño, mga Kapampangan, maraming salamat. And happy birthday sa asawa ni Archie. And sa nag-iisang girlfriend ko, kay Zaya Elbeta, binabati ko. And kay Senior Deputy Speaker Congressman Dong Gonzales, team owner, manager, AG Gonzales, City Councilor Brents Gonzales, Senior Board Member Mika Gonzales, Mayor Roding Gonzales of Mexico. Siyempre sa Governor namin, Dennis Delta Pineda, Vice Governor Lilian Nanay Pineda, Board Member Mylene Pineda, and siyempre sa boss ko, Mayor Philip Nagi, Top Minali Pampanga, and Athletic Sports Apparel. Yun lang, maraming salamat po sa lahat sa boss ko sa amin.
Ayan, Mix and Javi, siyempre deserve nilang bumate, no?
Happy birthday, Zin De La Cruz, asawa ko.
Ayan, siyempre deserve bumate ng Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Ngayon again, Encho Serrano is our best player of the game, brought to you by Nexus 88 Gaming. Ngayon, bala sa ating panel, Mix and Javi.
Ayun na nga, nabalikan ni Sydney yung kanyang report in the second half about Balti Baltazar not being the only star for Pampanga, as now Governor Coach Dennis Delta Pineda will put the name of Pampanga in the North Division Finals of the 5th season of the Mpbl. And so, in the galaxy of stars for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, yes, Balti might be the brightest, but in the words of Peter Pan, the second star to the right, it is Encho Serrano. He is our best player of the game in game number 2. What impressed you the most from the side of the Lanterns in this matchup?
It was their ability to come back from what was such a strong third quarter by the Caloocan Batang Kalud. You know, despite the hot shooting of the black shirts in that third period, they just kept in step at di talaga sila bumitaw. They trusted in their capability. They knew that it was their destiny to reach the North Division Finals, and that's exactly what they did here in this game. Numerous contributions from players. Encho Serrano led that pack. Archie Concepcion had his moments. MJ Garcia played quality minutes. Balti Baltazar was his usual dominant self on the boards and on the glass, scoring buckets as well, setting the tone. JB Bahayo was equally impressive in the second half para sa Pampanga. A lot of names to mention, but just a testament to how this was a total team effort for Pampanga, and that's something that they can really use moving forward, especially against the victor of the next series, San Juan and Nueva Ecija.
Oh, we're going to talk about that later on. Now I want to focus a bit on Caloocan Batang Kankulu. Your thoughts as they end their season?
Well, you know, it's been such a great season with such a great roster para sa kanila. I do believe if Coach Robert's season entered much earlier, it would have been a different story. But, you know, this is something that they can build on for next year. Hopefully, they keep the same core and Coach Robert has more time to prepare them to implement his system, make them practice it, have more time for them to really get into the schemes defensively and offensively. But still, they shouldn't walk out of this series with their heads down, but with their heads held high.
All right, so we wrap things up for Caloocan. Now we go back to Pampanga. They will advance to take on either the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards or the San Juan Knights in what might be the truest test so far for Pampanga next week.
This definitely will be a big division finals in the North. Blockbuster, whoever advances. That's why I'm pretty sure everybody is waiting to see what's going to happen in this next game. I know you are.
Well, last year we saw something like this, wherein San Juan led the series against Nueva Ecija 1-0, but game number 2 back then happened in San Juan. Now it's going to be Nueva Ecija with home court advantage. So let's see if things will be different, as now we turn you over to our press conference.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mpbl post-game press conference. Congratulations, Coach Governor Delta Pineda and our best player, Encho Serrano. Encho, nung mga nakaraang season ng Pampanga, laging nasa playoffs, pero hanggang sa division semifinals lang, umabot. Ano yung pakiramdam na nakapasok na kayo sa division finals, Coach?
Masayang-masaya po at dahil itong paghihirap na ginagawa ho ng team namin is for the Kapampangans. So talagang grabe po saya. Nakita niyo naman ho yung mga kasama rin namin dito na Kapampangan nagpunta at yung mga nanonood sa Pampanga. Ang dami pong masaya. Thank you, Lord.
Encho, ano yung gagawin mong paghanda para ma-step up pa yung laban nyo kung para sa championship?
Yun nga yung sinasabi sa amin ni boss na kailangan almost 1 month na lang yung liga natin. So, yun nga sabi niya, i-sacrifice na natin to kasi yun nga, sayang naman yung mga pinaghirapan namin kung ngayon pa kami bibitaw. So, siguro kailangan lang namin mag-focus pa everyday kung ano yung mga kailangan namin i-improve. Yun nga, inaasahan na kasi ako ni boss na sabi niya, wala ka shooting. So, yun, ginagawa ko ngayon na yung kailangan ko para makatulong talaga sa team, ginagawa namin.
Okay, maraming salamat. Kay Coach Gob, Delta Pineda. Gob, doon sa kwanyo ay talagang nag-focus kayo dito sa Caloocan. Ngayon, tapos na yung focus nyo sa Caloocan. Ano po yung focus natin ngayon?
Maghihintay kami dito sa dalawa at maganda pa itong series na nung San Juan at Nueva Ecija. Alam naman ho natin talagang palaban itong dalawa na to. Pero Siguro bigyan ko lang ng break muna yung mga bata at bigyan ko mga 2 days break at before kami bumalik ng training, practice, ganun na naman ho gagawin. I need to watch this game kasi talagang itong second game na to critical. Lahat ng best effort ng both teams ilalabas nila. So ito ang dapat kong panoodin talaga.
Go, pasaran na yung kortina ng MPBL. Nasa Northern na tayo. North Finals na tayo, no? Ano ngayon, kumpara natin yung composition ng team natin noon at saka ngayon, ano yung porsyento nitong team na to para ma-attain natin yung pinaka-ultimate goal natin, yung championship?
Katulad ng sinasabi ko, kung percentage ang pinag-uusapan, hindi ko masabi because yung sino makakalaban namin. Pero ang number 1 is yung confident ko sa mga players namin nandoon. So, wala akong doubt sino man sa mga kanila. Kung makikita nyo, yung mga hugot namin, kung sino nag-step up to the last minute, up to the last seconds, iba-iba compared to other games. Wala tayong fix kung titignan ninyo. So, as long na confident ako sa mga players ko, hopefully lalaban naman po kami dito sa North Finals na to. Bibigay po kami ng laban. But I cannot assure na sasabihin ko na makukuha ko po yung North Finals. Hindi po. Kasi bilog ang bola. At iba-iba rin ang focus ng mga kalaban namin. We need to focus. Importante, ma-focus ko yung team ko for this North Finals.
Welcome to your Mpbl recap and a couple of very important games here in Strike Gym in Bacoor, and we saw Batangas and Bacoor taking 1-0 lead in the respective series sa semifinals ng inyong South Division. Simulan natin, Coach JV, ang nangyari sa Game 1. Batangas winning over the Jensen Warriors 81-75, and it was Levy Hernandez who led the way, but ang ganda ng depensa nila on John Wilson that limited John Wilson to just 7 points.
Hirap na hirap. Great defensive game, no? But when one team got to score, the other got to score as well. But they were still playing great defense. The ball game just got away from Jensen nung huling quarter because for some reason, hindi na pumapasok ang mga attempts nila and they were just trying to force their shots. Hindi na naging 2-3 passing scoring opportunities. It became a one-on-one game. So that's something they need to maybe reassess coming Game 2.
Well, it was a great performance of Jexter Apinan. Jong Baloria also with 12 points, and the Jensen naman pinangunahan ni Mark Cruz with 18 points, including 6 3-pointers para idikit din kahit papano yung laro na yan. Right. So, you know, second game, Bacoor against Zamboanga. Zamboanga panalo sa kanilang regular season meeting, but it was a different story in this ball game as Bacoor took control early and made a good run in the third quarter and preserved that lead in the fourth.
Well, alam mo, you can never count Zamboanga out. Pinaghandaan talaga sila, pinigil talaga ang mga scorers nila. JC Marcelino still scored, did great, but wasn't enough because he needed teammates to score, contribute para sila imanalo. Yun nga lang, napakalakas ng dating ng Bacoor dito sa unang game.
Well, 20 points para kay John Ermal to go with 8 rebounds, a big block in the end, and a steal as well para ikompleto ang magandang performance niya. So, Game 2 shifts to Batangas as Batangas and Bacoor will look to close out the series and arrange a South Division final showdown. Pero, syempre, expected a big fight back from ng mga teams na natalo in Game 1. For my partner, Coach JV Gayoso, ito po si Dev Tupas. Continue watching the MPBL here on our Facebook and YouTube channels.